Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. So this month we've got the launch of 2 more Langrisser mobile OCs, and yes, these are OCs even though they're loosely based on characters from previous Langrisser games. The Wandering Duelist is the new version of Brenda, and Julian is the new, evil, corrupted version of Julian from Langrisser Reincarnation Tensei, both appearing in Langrisser Mobile's Act 3 storyline. The banner is going to run for the duration of the monthly update, from September 15th to October 12th. As a raid-up banner, you have a 40% chance to get each on-banner character, with the remaining 20% reserved for any other hero in the regular summoning pool. Alright, so let's just go ahead and take a look at Jewels and Duels. First up, we've got the Wandering Duelist. The Wandering Duelist is a physical DPS whose kit is built around her revenge mechanic. Indeed, it's her whole talent. When an ally dies, the enemy who killed them gets a permanent Brenda debuff that makes her do more damage to them. The 2 main downsides of this talent are that it requires an ally to die, making it necessarily reactive, and that without triggering that debuff, she essentially has no active talent effect. She can mitigate this problem a little bit through her skills. She has a 1-cost skill that puts a weaker temporary version of her talent debuff on 2 enemies before letting her move 2 more spaces and take another action. And that's about it, actually. Her 3-cost skill is a single target attack that also gives her a passive once per battle revive. After you use this attack, no matter who you use it on, every enemy on the map who has her Brenda debuff gets heal blocked. She also has a 2-cost attack that similarly affects every Brenda debuffed enemy with passive block. The problems with this kit should immediately be obvious. She has average to slightly below average range, she doesn't ignore guard, her whole talent is either dormant until an ally is already dead or until she uses a whole other skill to activate it. It's the kind of kit that might be salvaged by a great piece of unique equipment. We have seen it happen before with Epsilon, Autocrato, and Helena, so it could happen again. Otherwise, this is a very Brenda-ish unit. She's a member of Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya, Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida and Epsilon, and Yeles Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma. For bonds, she doesn't unlock anyone else's bonds, and for her own bonds, she needs Werner for her defensive bond and Mariandel for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Phoenix, Scylla, and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and Jormungandr and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. You don't really want your allies to die against bosses. Maybe you could sacrifice a summon or something, but again, that's changing your whole strategy up to get a damage boost for 1 unit. On the PvP side, the problems I already mentioned in her intro really start to come into focus. Even in a pure trade game, where you can expect an opponent to run in and kill one of your units, her whole talent is designed to help you get a one-shot kill on that unit. But shouldn't your other units be able to secure that kill anyway? In other words, replacing a competent one-shot DPS who can ignore guard or zone out a lot of territory, in exchange for a relatively limited brawler, is a tall order. When she does get a piece of unique equipment, it'll likely have something to do with her talent debuff management, either making it easier to apply or giving her additional effects, and that's fine, we'll see. Moving on now to Julian. Julian is a physical DPS who gets a lot of bonuses when the enemy units are already hurt. His talent gives him increased damage dealt against targets who are under 90% HP, and he heals himself back up a bit after fighting them. He also gets increased mobility for every injured enemy on the map, up to a whopping +6 mobility at 6 stars. His 3-cost skill is a guard-ignoring assassination skill that permanently increases his own max HP if he gets a kill. After getting a kill, it also gives him 1 turn of a kind of a mirror armor effect, which basically means any enemy that attacks into him is going to be injured, and thus subjected to his bonuses. He also has a 1-cost passive that makes him take less damage in battle against injured enemies, and it lets him move after battle. He's a member of Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozel and Licorice, Meteor Strike buffed by Zerida and Epsilon, and Langrisser Reincarnation buffed by Ares and Hilda. For bonds, Julian unlocks the defensive bond for the upcoming new 4th anniversary character, the Girl in the Shell, aka the future Act 3 storyline version of Lucretia. For his own bonds, he needs Defensive Specialist Hilda for his defensive bond, and Attack Specialist Emperor Lavina for his attack bond. For content in PvE, he's on faction for Leviar and Scylla in the Eternal Temple, and Jormungandr, Fenrir, and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. He hasn't popped up in any meta teams for these fights, but if you're not chasing the top of the leaderboards, big HP sponge bosses do spend the majority of their time below 90% HP, so he'll at least always have his boosts available. In PvP, he's a niche unit overall, seemingly fitting really well into AoE rush teams. A big part of the reason for this is his built-in ability to rack up +6 mobility, which lets him jump into the rush behind another unit who opened with AoE damage on the whole enemy team. He can either follow up with an AoE of his own, or go for a snipe on an important injured enemy. His stonks are down a bit just because he's debuting in a meta that's heavily single-target trade-oriented, but the handful of players who already play AoE Rush are definitely planning to build him up. Alright, let's move on to the notes for Noobs, and we'll make this one quick. Wandering Duelist is an underwhelming unit for now. She might improve in the future with a well-tuned piece of unique gear, but for the purposes of this banner, she is skippable. Julian is a niche PvP unit. If you play AoE Rush, then summon him. If you don't really need him unless you're a collector or you want him for that Girl in the Shell bond. That's what niche means. It means he does well when he's operating in his niche. He's often not good. Sometimes he is. It's pretty simple. Finally, we'll close with my usual reminder about upcoming banners. So even though this is the start of the next major update, this isn't the one most people have been waiting for. The next meta-shifting unit is going to be Gintoki from the Gintama crossover, and that's most likely happening in early November. That's not as far away as it sounds though. There's one more MU between this one and that one, so don't go getting reckless with your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. Next week we should be getting access to the lotto for the Heart of Desire upgrade stone for Leden's new SP class. As with all Macho Lottos, if you intend to build SP Leden, you should plan to set aside 4,000 Trinity Crystals for that lotto. If you're lucky, you'll get it sooner than that, but you don't want to spend like 3,000 crystals and not get it and then not afford to go all the way. In the more immediate future, we have a raid-up banner featuring Michelle and Shelfaniel next week for all you AoE specialists, and a Destiny banner featuring Dark Reincarnation cast-offs Gustav, Listel, and Renata the week after that. The final week of the update will give us recurring Destiny banners and Kong Shortcuts videos featuring Licorice, Mariel, and Subame, and Ultimuller, Leden, and Rachel. Anyway, that's a wrap for this episode, so let us know on the Discord or in the comments below whether you're going to try your luck summoning on either of these heroes, and which one you want the most. So thank you so much for watching, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, as always, to our Langrisser tier channel members for generously supporting the channel directly. Shout out to Levitt, Derek, Kate Soon, Jared Portela, Jerome Meyer, Shara Ilimirius, and Harambe. Thank you, folks.